freedom, freedom, freedom over fame, freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives, and I am your host, Bruce Anthony. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts and video podcasts. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and rate us. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at unsolicited_perspectives. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at unsolicited_PER. Watch us live now. Watch us live every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. Our audience continues to grow with each and every episode, and I humbly thank you.
On today's episode, this is Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be dilly-dallying a little bit. Then we're going to be talking about serious subject matters and the oppression of American history. And then we're going to talk about a TikTok. What is respect versus obedience? But first things first. Hey there, podcast listeners. It's Bruce Anthony here, and welcome to another episode of Unsolicited Perspectives. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately, the importance of staying hydrated and taking care of ourselves. Whether it's prioritizing our health and wellness, or gearing up for festival seasons, or just gearing up for whatever season or time of year, there's one brand that's been my go-to for all things hydration, Liquid IV. Speaking of health and wellness, let's dive into how Liquid IV can fuel your well-being. Imagine starting your day off right, feeling refreshed and energized. Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier is the missing piece in your daily routine. With just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. It's perfect for those early mornings, pre-workout boosts, moments when you're just feeling run down, or even after a late night or long flights. I absolutely love how convenient Liquid IV is. The packaging makes it easy to bring with me wherever I go. And let me tell you, it's become vital daily part of my routine. The flavors, let me tell you something, they're incredible. From refreshing sea berry and strawberry lemonade to classics like lemon lime and watermelon, there's a flavor for every preference. It's like a burst of hydration with a hint of deliciousness. Picture this. 1 stick of Liquid IV mixed in 16 ounces of water, hydrating you 2 times faster and more efficient than water alone. And with 12 mouth-watering flavors, you'll never get bored with your hydration routine. Plus, Liquid IV is packed with 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course, vitamin C. It's also made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free of gluten, dairy, and soy. This is hydration at its finest. But it doesn't stop there. Liquid IV believes that access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. That's why they partner with leading organizations, finding innovative solutions to help communities protect both their water and their futures. It's incredible to know that Liquid IV has already donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world. They truly walk the talk. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code UNSOLICITED at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code UNSOLICITED at liquidiv.com. Remember, folks, taking care of ourselves should always be a priority. So why wait? Head over to liquidiv.com, pick your favorite flavors, and experience hydration like never before. Stay refreshed, stay hydrated, and keep rocking those unsolicited perspectives. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
You know, I can't call it, just chilling. That's our little slogan. That's our little slogan. We launched the new logo was launched yesterday on all our social media sites and all that stuff.
It is so cool. I like the new logo a lot.
I like it too. I like it. I like it. I like the logo.
Okay.
The transparency logo, I should have had it be on air in the background, because the transparency logo is basically what you're going to be using for all your merch. I can't put the main show background because it has the background, which is the setup of my studio, because it's going to be like this. Like if it's a white shirt, it's this big square in the middle.
Yeah.
I guess it could work, but I don't know.
I don't. Well, the on-air logo, that wasn't exactly an original mock-up he made, correct?
Which mean the original?
Like, did he pull that from somewhere, or did he write? Did he draw that up himself?
No, you sent the exact same. I said the exact vector file. I said use this. This is perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I said use this. I mean, I guess I could put it on a transparency logo.
I don't think you need it. I like the transparency logo as is. I think it
I
just I think it just adds another thing, and you don't need a thing. Especially if you got it on a sweatshirt. We're gonna have words on a sweatshirt. It's. I think
well,
this
the words are going to be on the back. The T-shirt, the words on is on
is on
the
the back.
T-shirt that we're going to do. And sweatshirts, I'm not even going to make the sweatshirts now. As hot as it is, the last 15 days been the hottest 15 days
Yeah.
in 15-day history.
Yes.
So ain't nobody buying no sweatshirts right now. I don't even need to do the mock-ups for those. This is gonna be
Right.
some t-shirts and a short set, some drawers and some socks.
It's not some drawers and some socks, but
Yeah, some drawers and some socks.
yeah.
But the merch store, I want to say that I want to officially launch it on the 1st.
Okay.
I'm designing the shirts now, and
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. So just give me a little time and stuff.
Well, it just needs to really be the logo and stuff first. Like we can get into other t-shirt designs later. I think
Yeah,
just the inaugural shirts just put the logo on there and
and just leave it like that.
and just get it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But put the words on the back.
You can. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just the first one. Welcome. First of all, welcome.
Yeah.
All right. What's the grammar that should go with that? Should it be welcome, exclamation point, first of all, comma, welcome, exclamation point?
No, no.
Because that's proper sentence structure.
I mean, yeah, but I would write it colloquially. Like I would write it the way that it's
I
said.
don't know what that word. I've heard that word
I
before.
just defined it after I said it. I would write it
Uh,
the way that it's said. Writing the way you speak is writing colloquially.
I can't even say quote colloquially. Colloquially.
That's actually close. That's pretty
It was
close.
close.
Yeah.
I was talking with a friend of mine earlier today, and I'm not going to betray his confidence, but we were talking about a particular subject, and he DM'd me a meme later on that day that was pertaining to that subject, and I said to him, I was like, "Yeah, that was apropos what you sent to me," and he was like, "I don't understand what that means. What does that mean?" and I was like, "Apropos, like appropriate."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I never heard that word before." I was like, "You're a college educated person. You never heard that word before?" And he was like, "Well, how do you spell it? I want to look it up." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how to spell it." I was like, "I know how to say it, but I don't know how to say." So I said it
Again,
in
there's like
Siri.
a built-in spell check on your
Yeah,
phone.
I said it in Siri, and she understood what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But he did a funny joke. He was like, I said, "Yeah, it's apropos." He said, "I ain't no damn hoe." I was like, "All right, that's
that's funny. That's
that's
funny, but
funny."
let's be adults here.
But you know how I said it was funny? I said it that way. I was like, "Okay, that's funny." I think when people do that, when people say that's funny instead of cracking up sometimes, that means that it's actually funnier than when something makes you crack up sometimes, because
Yeah.
you understand the intelligence in that humor. Not saying that was like super intelligent, but it was just like
It
it was
wasn't.
clever. It
Yeah.
was clever.
I don't know that it was that clever. I just think it
Uh,
was, some
it was apropos.
some comical wordplay. But
Okay, yes.
I don't know that it was all that. I ain't no hoe. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Well, that's enough about me. What's up with you? How you doing out here in these streets?
I mean, I'm not in the streets. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hot.
'Cause
I went to go get the mail and I almost melted. So I just said, I'm not in the streets are not for me this summer. Not this summer.
no,
You know what? I might be in the streets this fall. You might
That's-
catch me in the streets in November.
you could catch me in the streets in the fall.
Yeah. You can catch me in the streets in the fall in a nice layered, sweater set. And some boots. That's where you can catch me in the streets because ain't nowhere in the hell.
Well, that's like, we talked about this. I forget which episode it was. I think it was probably on the After Hours episode. But I had my birthday party last week, and the whole intention was to have it on the rooftop and, have a good time. And one of my friends was like, "You want to do it where? On the rooftop?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?" I was like, "Yeah, I love the rooftop at this place. I love it." We couldn't get the rooftop because the owner had it booked over because he was throwing his own party. So we was downstairs in the patio. And when I tell you, I was sweating profusely immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, the hell with this. Let's go inside. And
Yeah.
even still, it took a long time to cool off inside.
Yeah. I don't know what you were thinking.
I was thinking that it was like last summer. And last summer, we was on top of the
about
roof.
Climate change. Listen, the climate is changing.
Quickly.
It's not going to be the same as it was last summer.
No.
Period.
And next summer is going to be hotter than this summer.
It's going to be even hotter.
So I guess fall is now my season because I hate winter because it's cold.
Right.
Spring, I can't breathe or function because of the pollen. I'm allergic to everything.
Yeah. I don't know that anybody likes spring for that particular reason.
I don't think a lot of people, there's some people that's not allergic like you and I that can actually breathe throughout their nose.
The level of pollen that's out now affects literally 100% of people. Because there's so much of it. It's like a thick blanket you're walking through.
It is.
That keeps smacking you in the face. So I think it affects, honestly, 100% of people.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe. But spring is no good.
Thick,
it'd be real thick. It'd be a paste.
Yes.
It'd be a paste.
Yes.
People are like, I can't wait for it to rain to wash it away. I'm like, look, let me tell you something. When dust and water mix, you know what that is? That's mud.
That's mud.
It's enough pollen. It's enough pollen out here to create mud everywhere. You think it's mud from dirt. No, that's pollen.
That's pollen. If it's yellow mud, guess what? That's pollen. And you just got it all on your shoes. You attract it all in your house.
And then, so I guess fall is fall is actually, since we out of school now, fall is my favorite time of year anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really my favorite time of year. I got my favorite holidays are happening in the fall.
Halloween?
Just Thanksgiving.
Is that still fall or is that winter?
I don't think winter, to me, winter starts in December. So maybe that's just because in Atlanta, I mean, it just does not get cold until like January, February. But for me, fall is September, October, November. That's fall to me.
Okay. All right. We've been dilly-dallying enough.
We have been dilly-dallying. I mean, now I have to look up when is actual fall.
But the people have been asking me, and it's like, you gonna talk about this? And
yeah, so September 23rd to December 21st. If anybody is wondering, that is
December 21st.
Yeah, December 21st. That is autumn.
So Thanksgiving. Okay, all right, all right, and that's almost Christmas. Christmas is almost a fall holiday. Almost.
Christmas is almost fall. Almost.
All right, let's get to Carlee Russell.
People have been asking you about this, about your opinion.
About my opinion. So if you don't know who Carlee Russell is the young woman in Alabama that disappeared between January 13th and January 15th.
July.
Excuse me. I've been saying July. I've been saying January for July a lot. I don't know why, but I've been doing it. 43. This is what happens when you get old. Anyway, July 13th and to July 15th, she was missing. What she basically said is that she saw a baby. It was a baby in the road.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby. So she saw a baby in the road. She called 911. Then she was abducted. She said that she claimed to be taken by a man who came out of the trees when she stopped to check on the child. And then she was blindfolded and held at a home with another woman and a child. And basically that she escaped and got home on foot. And the Hoover police chief, Nick, I'm going to butcher this like I always butcher names, Darvez. The police chief, Nick Darvez, is casting doubt on her statements saying that he couldn't find anything about any baby or any abduction. And her phone reveals searches about Amber Alerts, a movie about abduction called Taken, and a bus ticket to Nashville, Tennessee, departing the day of the disappearance. He also found internet searches before the kidnapping that were highly unusual. And people out there were trying to get what my opinion would be. What is your opinion before I say mine?
I kind of want you to go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Could it be a Juicy Smollett situation? It could be.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. She could be lying. She could be telling the truth. That's not the story to me. The story to me is how quickly the police department is willing to put out there that they base a hint very strongly that they don't believe her story. When there have been a lot of situations where women have faked abductions and they don't normally come out this quickly. And I just wonder why the police department would be so adamant to cast doubt upon her story. She could be lying, and I'm not disputing that. I'm disputing the quickness of which the police department is trying to dispute her story. And it just, I hate to do it to y'all folks, but I think race got a little something to play in this. I think it does. And it's not like women don't get abducted all the time. Hell, they just finally arrested the guy in Long Island that they think is a serial killer that's killed a lot of women in Long Island, right? So women get abducted every day, B, every day. So it's very well possible that this happened. But the fact that the police department is casting doubt so early, this is July 20th. She returned home July 15th. Today wasn't the day that they decided to cast doubt. It was the 18th. So, and they haven't even interviewed her a second time. They only did the initial interview and she's shaken up. Now, could she be lying? Yes. And the story sounds a little fishy. However, why do we give other people the benefit of a doubt, but not some people? I'm just saying, this was a little white woman. It'd be a long time before the police started casting doubt. That's all. So that's my take on all this. And my overall take, because I kind of felt bad for the guy in Long Island, and this is what I mean by that. I'm not saying I think he's innocent or guilty. That is not the basis of my argument. It's how the media is portraying it. He's already portrayed as guilty. If this man happens to be innocent, it doesn't matter how many retractions that go on in the news, he will always be looked at as this serial killer. And I think that the media so many people are quick to get to the story that they don't. Journalism school 101, if you're a reporter, to get all your facts first. How do I know this? Because I started out in journalism.
Same.
That was my first major, right? There's a difference between a columnist and a reporter. A columnist writes their opinions. I'm a columnist. I give opinions. A reporter reports just the facts and leaves it alone. These people aren't out here getting all the facts before they report on these stories because there's a need to be first. So I don't care if she lied or if she told the truth. There's a reason if she lied, and there's a reason if she's telling the truth, something happened. But I don't care about that. I care about the media and its need to automatically produce innocence or guilt. Okay, that was my little 2 cents that lasted about 5 minutes. So what do you think?
So the numbers are kind of all over the place, but the NAACP reports that there are 64,000 missing Black women in this country. Other reports show that it's closer to 100,000 missing.
Missing.
So when we hear, and mind you, you're not seeing them on the news every day. You're not seeing these faces. there are just families out there with no answers to where their loved one is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see someone like Carlee Russell, and I remember when my timeline was kind of just flooded with, have you seen this person? And it was just last week, so obviously I
Mm-hmm.
remember it.
Literally just a week ago.
Yeah, it was just a week ago. When you see someone like that and you see a community rallying around to kind of amplify this person and hope that they're found, and then they are found, whether she was lying or telling the truth, what I want to take away from this is like, we can't use that as a barometer for how we're going to judge all missing Black women from now on.
Mm.
What was the most discouraging thing about this to me is the number of Black people literally salivating over this, the way that they were so into the juicy Samouye. We ain't never gonna pronounce that young man's name right,
No,
ever.
no, we're never gonna do
After
it.
somebody called him Juicy, I think it was Dave Chappelle. That's it. That's his name from now on.
That's his name.
But couldn't wait to say, that's something suspicious about this. Even before that press conference today about her search history, searching for things like, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert, or and searching for the movie Taken, which
By the way, if something ever happens to me and people look at my search history and just the random things I'd be searching, I really don't want to be judged on that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes literally in the middle of the night, I'll be like, what is this? I just Googled on air, when is autumn?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I really don't want people looking through my search history. I
No,
don't know.
no.
I don't know that there was really a racial component so much as she came home safely, or relatively safely.
Relatively safely, yeah.
And so instead of being able to put her face on a t-shirt and make her name into a hashtag, it was the gross reaction that people had to her coming back safely. And I'm like, isn't that what we were all hoping for?
Yeah.
Regardless of the circumstances, we still didn't
Regardless if
know
it's true or not,
where
she's
she
home safely.
was. Right. We
Right.
still didn't know where she was. We didn't know this. We don't know the circumstances. We don't know where she was. And the whole point was that she get home safely, regardless of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just encourage anybody who's like really being real weird about the fact that they don't believe her or it's suspicious. I want them to question why they seem so hyped over the fact that you don't believe her.
Yeah, because I had some friends of mine in a group chat and they sent a side by side. It's a meme going around, Juicy Smollett and then Carlee Richardson. I just had the
Carlee
name.
Russell
Richardson. I mean, she might be lying about that. We don't know.
No.
Let me stop. But no, and I was just like, I didn't even respond to it. And I was like, so here we go.
Yeah.
Right. We'd be so quick, and I got on this thing. It was like, if she was white, let me attack our people.
Mm-hmm.
We are so quick sometimes to attack each other and make what's the word that I'm looking for? We just so quick to jump on each other.
Yeah.
And
especially attacking the credibility of Black women in our community.
Well, you've said it all often, people don't like women in general. Women are not liked in general.
Mm-hmm.
And Black women are especially not liked.
Yes.
People don't like it when I say that. It's true. I love women. I think one of my friends keeps bringing up the fact that I ain't seen Hidden Figures or The Lady King or any of them other movies. But one day,
I'm the friend.
It's you and somebody else.
Oh, okay.
It's you and somebody else calling me to task.
Yeah.
And it was like, why you ain't seen Hidden Figures yet? I also haven't seen The Banker. So I'm an equal opportunity, don't want to see no movies. But no, it's just like we attack ourselves, and some stuff like I feel like need to be in-house and don't need to
Mhm.
be out in public, because
Yeah,
that
there.
just gives fuel to the fire of people that are already trying to oppose us. And then I'll get to in the next segment how they're trying to oppose us. But I feel like we need to keep that dirty laundry in-house. If
Yeah,
that's the way you feel, we can whisper it among ourselves, but don't
there
everybody got
were
to know
way
what we're
too
thinking.
many. There were way too many TikToks
Mm-hmm.
about she lying, y'all. You see this? She lying, y'all. Okay, well, what what's that doing? What's that doing for you aside from generating clicks? What? How is
But you
that
know what?
helping? How is that helping the situation? You could have used that platform to amplify somebody who is missing.
That doesn't get clicks.
Okay, but
Controversy
then
gets clicks.
right, but then again, you have to ask yourself, what kind of person am I?
Yes. So one of my friends brought it up to me. And no knock to this podcast. I listen to this podcast. And one of my friends brought it up to me, is like, I need you to kind of I like your podcast, but I like Joe Budden. And like Joe Budden has a very popular podcast.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I can understand why you would like Joe Budden. But I was like, well, what's wrong with my podcast? You don't be talking about anything juicy. I was like, I don't. I guess I just talk about intellectual juicy and not messy juicy, which by the way, I do talk about messy juicy as well, just not as much as Joe Budden.
I would say we're
And
not a real pop culture. When this is
I
not a pop culture podcast.
no, because I don't care about that stuff. I
No.
don't care
If you're
about
looking for the shade room, you on the wrong podcast. Because
yeah, no,
for
that's
one, I don't know any of those people. I don't know
what
any of those people. You asked John, who's Blueface?
well, I do know who Blueface
I think you
is.
talking about the Blue Man Group. I literally don't know. I don't know if he's an athlete
He's a
or
rapper.
okay.
He's a rapper.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. And I
Yeah, but
don't
like
care. So
yeah, that's the key. Don't care. We
I
talk about
don't
stuff that
care.
we actually deem as important, and other people actually enjoy it. So this
Yeah.
is how I'm going to run this podcast network.
Yeah.
Will there be a podcast one day where it'll be like some shade room? I guess maybe, but it's
Maybe.
down the line. I like talking about semi serious stuff and serious stuff. But what is your final? Do you have any other final words to say about Carlee?
Um I'm glad that she's home. I don't
Yeah,
whatever, ends up becoming of this story because again, it's still in the early stages of the investigation. All that we know right now is that she Googled some stuff.
that's it. That's all we know.
That's all we know. We still don't know where this young woman was. And apparently she came home in a state, according to her parents, in a
Right.
bad state. So they can't talk about it because the investigation is still ongoing. So whatever happened,
They can't talk about who can't talk about it, because
her parents are not talking about it.
well, the cops sure are talking about what they don't believe happened.
Right.
They sure are hinting about that, and that was my issue. That's
Yeah.
my issue.
Yeah.
Like it's really soon to be, if you have doubt, cool, but it's really soon to be putting that out in the media.
Yeah.
And then it was something like she had $100 in her pocket, and her boss was like, "If she stole it, I'm gonna press charges." And I'm just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what makes you think that she stole it from you?" Like,
Because she Googled how to take something from a register without getting caught.
guess what? There is no way to take something from a register without getting caught,
No.
because there's records in the back, and they know what's been
Yes.
rung up
Yeah.
and what's missing. So that's what pissed me off. That's what pissed me off. The media.
Yeah.
The media pissed me off.
Yeah. But I just don't. I'm just happy that she's home, and I'm not gonna let the next person that comes up missing, because there will be a next one. I'm still gonna amplify that person the same way, and I'll still be just as happy when that person comes back home, because even if it is a hoax, okay, well, there were real people on the other end of that were worried about her. She had two parents who were incredibly worried about her, and we don't know what made her do something like this. If it was some issue was trying to get her boyfriend's attention, or she's having a mental health crisis, or we don't really know. The point is, you don't know.
Don't know.
So just shut up. Like, again, this is a situation where mind your business. Like, mind your business. Like, honestly,
Mind your business. Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. Just mind your business.
And if it is a hoax, that happens from time to time. People make false statements. That shouldn't take away from the overwhelming number of cases that absolutely are legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Quit being born with your lazy ass, just eating dinner and watching TV every night. We're going to change it up tonight. Next time, pull out a Wongo puzzle and enjoy the conversation and fun that happens when people puzzle together. Wongo is a perfect balance of good challenge without being so hard you stop talking to each other and leave your family forever. I know I'm close to that almost every time me and my family get together. Trust me, once you try Wongo, you'll never go back to that boring, old-ass jigsaw puzzle. They are 100% wooden pieces, so they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun whimsy pieces as you work through it. They come in a custom wooden box, which is perfect for storage and gifting. With stunning designs and unique shape, Wongo puzzles are a cut above the rest. I love doing the snow globe puzzle myself. It was great to pull out a puzzle and be done in a night and not have to worry about it being on the table for a week. Well, not on the table, on the floor. And definitely not for a week because crypto would mess it up. So what are you waiting for? Go to wongopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code Unsolicited to get 10% off your order. This is the most fun you've had with a puzzle, guaranteed, or your money back. Go to wongopuzzles.com and use code Unsolicited to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now. All right, sis. Now on to more serious stuff. Not that, Carlee wasn't
Black women getting
serious.
abducted and serious to you?
That's serious. And I brought up the racial component, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just, and maybe I'm taking my own personal, because I am Black, just like, man, they real quick to discredit a Black person.
Right.
But in this instance, they are discrediting Black people. So the Florida Board of Education has a new standards for African American history. They approved new standards for African American history that require teachers to instruct that enslaved people, when they say enslaved, they talk about the slave Black people from slavery that was over 400 years, but only ended like 160 years ago.
Right.
It wasn't that long, not even 160 years. It was like 140 years.
You're right.
Think about that. It was 140 years. We said 150. It was 140 years. Okay. They require that teachers to instruct that enslaved people develop skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Let me repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to say that slavery actually benefited Black folks. The new academic standards have been criticized as a big step backward, and there's been overwhelming backlash from the public against the new standards. This is one part of the education being pushed back in America, just the most recent stories. There's another story that happened this week. Ta-Nehisi Coates supported a teacher in South Carolina. Why did he support a teacher in South Carolina? He attended a school board meeting in South Carolina to show support for a teacher who had a lesson about his book, Between the World and Me, stopped. So she was teaching, by the way, this was an advanced English course. Okay. She was teaching a class based upon the book. And the South Carolina School District halted the lesson on Coates' memoir, and Coates appeared at the school board meeting to discuss the ban, but he stayed silent. The controversy is because Mary Wood, who is the high school teacher, taught the lesson, but it was stopped after students expressed feeling uncomfortable and ashamed to be Caucasian. Caucasian is white, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
The school officials were concerned that the lesson could violate a South Carolina budget rule banning teachings that label anyone as consciously or unconsciously racist based on their race and causing discomfort, guilt, and anguish based on race. So in one instance, they're saying white people shouldn't feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But in another instance, they're saying, well, black people shouldn't feel guilty because y'all learned some skills. That's basically what they're saying in both instances.
Right.
And I just find it funny that they're trying to rewrite American history to placate white guilt, which, by the way, I've said it before. Guilt is that arrow on your moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel guilty about something, then morally you think it's wrong. And if you think it's wrong morally, maybe you should give pause. Now, that doesn't say that you should be like, I feel bad about being white, but you should definitely feel bad about what those people did. And that's what the guilt is from.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy. That's how we learn how to not repeat history. But by brandishing it away because people feel guilty, all the while I was in honors English classes, one of either one or two other black people that during the month of February, they would give us our little civil rights week and we would watch Eyes on the Prize. And then I would get asked, so Bruce, what do you think? What do I think? That makes me feel real uncomfortable as the only black person in this white space.
Right.
That's watching these black people being beat up on the screen and white people in the classroom just kind of looking away, not paying attention. They don't care. They're indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel some type of way about it. You don't care about my feelings, which,
No.
by the way, it needs to be taught. But if you don't care about my feelings, why do you care about the next person's feelings? Why are they worth more than I am? So that's my little 2 cents. Go ahead and dig in.
Well, we know the best and the brightest aren't coming out of Florida. So I think, college admission boards, just keep that on your radar because these kids are learning lies. Do they think we didn't have farming in West Africa? I find that very weird. We learned nothing. So I'm kind of concerned that they know very little about the world. Is it that surprising that they don't know that there were agrarian societies in Africa? No, that's not surprising to me at all.
No.
But definitely knew farming before we got here. I don't know why you would pick a people to kidnap and enslave who didn't already have some knowledge of the job. So that just seems dumb. No, we learned nothing except about racism. That's what we learned about. We learned that.
Well,
and
oppression. We learned about oppression. Racism came later.
We learned about oppression and bigotry. And we learned that the United States is not a safe place for us. And you're continuing to teach us that the United States is not a safe place for us because nobody is taking, like you said, into consideration the fact that you are telling young Black students in front of other races of students that there was something beneficial, that they should take away there was some personal benefit in enslavement. You don't think that that's not going to have some kind of adverse effect on that Black child hearing this?
They don't care about the Black children. They only care about the white children.
No, they don't. Because again, this is not, and I said this before about a lot of stuff that's going on right now with the Supreme Court decisions and different other, because Florida is obviously not the only place that's doing this. You got South Carolina.
No, South Carolina, yeah.
Everybody has their own kind of version across the South of these anti-woke legislation. But
I saw a court. I want to hear what you had to say. So hold that thought don't forget that thought, but I just want to put this in. I saw a correlation. Remember we talked about how a lot of the pro-life states support the death penalty. So I looked at what states actually have the death penalty. It's literally every southern state except for Virginia and Maryland. And every state out on the from the southern line to the west, except for, California and Oregon, I believe. And surprisingly, Alaska doesn't have the death penalty. And of course, Hawaii don't have the death penalty. And as far as the Midwest concerned, like the Montanas, the Idahos, the Dakotas, they got them. And then Ohio has it. Ohio and Indiana, because of course, Indiana. But surprisingly, if you look at the correlation between the states that are quote unquote peeling back CRT, right? And the abortion rights, they also support the death penalty. So we were right in that correlation of they don't give a damn about life. They care about control. But continue on to what you were saying.
Yeah, so you're seeing it a lot with all these different anti-woke things. They're trying, it's not about the disenfranchisement of Black people. It is about, like I've said before, it's about supporting white supremacy. It's because you see it that they only care about the feelings of the white children. No one is asking the Black children or children of any other race, because it's not just going to be us. It's not just going to be us. It's starting with us. But you're going to see changes to Latin and Hispanic history. You're going to see changes to Indigenous American history. You're going to see changes to Asian American history.
I would say that we weren't the first group that was attacked
No,
as far as diluting our history.
It's probably Indigenous Americans.
It's them. Look, I don't like to compare traumas. I won't.
Right.
To me, some of the greatest atrocities have been what's been done to the indigenous folks of this land, Black folks and Jewish folks. There is no comparison to the tragedies. They are all horrible.
Right.
But I tell you what does not get spoken about a lot, especially in this country, is what happened to the indigenous folks. Because look, this is the one thing I will say. I see us walking around. I see Black folks walking around. I don't see a lot of Native Americans walking around. I mean,
they're here.
When you go, they're here.
They're here, and they want you to know that they are still here.
Yeah, but they in pockets, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're in certain areas in this country, yes. But just by and large, you could see a Black person just about anywhere in this country.
Yeah,
even in Montana,
we out here.
We out here.
Yeah.
But
as much as they hate that, we are in fact out here. Yes.
Yeah, we out here. We ain't going nowhere. We not going nowhere.
And our children will still be taught our history in the home.
Hopefully.
In the home.
Hopefully. But, okay, maybe.
A lot of the reason why we know the facts about our history in the home is because we had grandparents and great-grandparents who actually lived through it and could tell you, I was there when Dr. King, we actually have people in the home who lived through these things.
But okay, so I'm of that generation where there was a time where it wasn't as explicit as it is now. There was a time where racism wasn't underground. It still came out in a lot of ways, but I have some friends that are just like, I have experienced no racism. I'm like, what? Yes, you have. I was there when you experienced racism.
Yeah.
I was there when you got accepted into a major university, a more academically prestigious university over the University of Maryland, which, by the way, is a prestigious academic university.
It's a public Ivy. So just putting that out there.
I was there when my friend got into a prestigious academic school, and all of our white classmates were like, how did you get into school? And this idiot, I'm not going to tell you what he was saying. But I had to pull him aside and be like, yo, stop saying this. We're in calculus class together. You actually do your homework. Not only that, you was a sports star, you played in the band, you had extracurricular activities, and your SAT scores were good. Guess what? You're smarter than them. That's the reason why you got in.
Yes.
But there are some people of my generation that are just like, I haven't experienced that. We know who they are because they're the Tim Scotts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's my generation, whether I want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
He only slightly older than me.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Not that not that much.
So I worry, like if I ever had kids, of course they would know the history. I'm a historian.
Yeah.
But not everybody is an historian. Not everybody looks out to learn more and more about history, even though they get older. Some people, their history is what they learned in school. And in college, unless you're taking history courses, there's no history electives that you have to take. History is pretty much over if you wanted to be in high school.
I think we need to just divest from Florida. We're already starting. Like Latinos pieced Florida out en masse. So
No, they didn't. What are you talking about? The Cuban population
no.
in Florida?
No. I'm talking about the migrant workers and hotel workers and construction workers and everybody saying we don't have to work here.
Right.
We can leave. And I'm talking about a lot of Black conventions that were, I think the Black Engineers Convention, which would have been like 15,000 people pulled out of Florida. People are pulling out. I mean,
what we really need is Disney to pull out. If Maryland could somehow find a whole strip of land,
we got it. We got it somewhere. It might be.
They can't even build a purple line.
That's the that's where you gotta contend with a bunch of rich folks that don't want public transportation access because that brings what they believe is an undesirable population.
And sometimes it does bring undesirable population.
Sometimes it does. But it's like
sometimes it does.
You can't always insulate yourself from the reality of life. And sometimes you need to see that undesirable population, quote unquote, so that you know that there is a problem out there with homelessness. There is a problem out there with our mental health facilities closing, with our shelters and missions closing. That there is a problem that needs to be addressed, and you can either be a part of that problem or by closing your eyes, or you can be a part of the solution. And so that's going to speak to all of this stuff. You can either sit back and let your children get a Florida education. And I really hope that becomes a pejorative. Like, I really hope that the idea of getting a Southern education becomes a mark against your child, because, and it's not your child's fault, it's your fault for keeping your child in that school. But I really hope that
well, some people don't have a choice, right?
Some people don't have a choice.
It's not, you can't, it's really expensive to just pick up and move. And there's no guarantee that where you move to is going to have opportunities that you can provide for your family. So people are just stuck. It's the politicians.
It's politicians.
Let's put the blame squarely on the politicians. But I would be remiss if I didn't explain the book that Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote, Between the World and Me. So let me just tell you what they're banning. I should have
brought my copy.
Of course you would have a copy.
You know I got a copy.
I know you do. So the book was published in 2015, and the book was written by him. And it was written as a letter from him to his teenage son about his experience of being Black in America and addressing racism and violence based on his skin color in society. It explores the themes of race, identity, and history. And it's won numerous awards.
Yes.
So all he's doing, basically, he's writing his biography.
Yes.
That's
just like anyone else.
We did there's a whole 3-hour movie on Oppenheimer. And nobody is sitting there protesting that movie. And maybe they should, because he's the creator that decimated so many people. Like, there were innocent people that died and were scarred for generations because we dropped 2 of those bombs. Innocent people that had nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
Now, me being the history major, I would tell you, they were not going to give up. they, that government was not going to give up.
Yeah.
We had to do something, but we
But
didn't
I don't know
necessarily
that we
have
had
to
to
do
do
that.
that. I don't know
And
that.
we didn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to do that. And nobody's out there protesting that. And he had problems with what he created because he
Yeah,
saw
I would too. I
he
made
saw
the
the
atomic
devastation and
bomb.
destruction. Right. But we definitely learned about him in history.
Mhm.
Why? Oh, he's a proud American that helped us win the war.
Right.
Well, okay, at whatever costs. All I'm saying is when you don't tell the truth about your history, you're lying to the future.
Well said.
Plain and simple. You don't tell the truth about your history, you're lying to your future.
And
So
some of this though we can blame on the children because it was kids that reported Ms. Woods
yes, it was. I'm
trying to get
it's
out of an
too
assignment.
well, too often adults dismiss children as not being smart enough because they think of themselves as children. I have a friend of mine, she's 60 years old. She thinks of herself as a child, and she was, we'll get into it next, obedient, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
she didn't really question things. And these
mhm.
kids nowadays question everything. I just saw in the news earlier today that a Gen Zer created an app to teach Gen Zers about finance. Beautiful idea.
Yeah.
It should actually be a class taught in high school,
Yes,
but
we have all said that. Yes,
yeah,
the fact that they don't teach basic finance as a required course in this country just lets you know that they want
yeah,
capitalism to suffocate and drown you.
yes. What's my girl Greta? Greta Thunberg, is that her
Yes,
name?
yes.
Okay. People are often talking about she didn't know what she's talking about. Her parents are putting her up to this. No, young Greta is informed and is intelligent.
Mhm.
And this idea that these young kids are not smarter than we were at their age is ridiculous. Now, do they do some dumb stuff like drinking Tide Pods? Yeah, I don't get it. But
Right.
my generation would put vodka in a syringe and shoot it up.
Yeah.
So every generation does something stupid.
Nobody's that smart
I
except
preface all of that.
except millennials.
Um, mm,
Yeah. We're
I'm
we're not dumb. We're traumatized. There's a difference.
okay. But so I don't want to disrespect their intelligence.
Mhm.
I will say they might have not gotten this idea strictly from themselves. This has been a
Oh, I
growing
think they
theme.
did.
But this has been a growing, well, what I mean by that is this has been a growing theme throughout the last couple of years
Mhm.
of parents saying, don't want to traumatize our kids and make them feel guilty. Would they have felt guilty if their parents hadn't put that in, if parents weren't out there saying that?
Yeah. There
You
are
think so? I think that,
there are children who grow up in racist households
you
who
just that, but once
internalize
again,
that.
it was their parents that put it in their head,
Yeah,
right? It wasn't their
but
natural
at
thought.
what point are you this is a high school AP English class. At
I,
what
it,
point are you
it might be
responsible?
AP.
It was AP class. It
It
was
was AP.
AP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At what point are you responsible for developing your own sort of ideology?
Mm. I don't think I developed my own ideology until I became an adult. And when I say adult, not 18. Like,
I had definitely had an ideology at 16.
I did, but there were still elements of my parents' teachings
Yeah.
that were still prevalent in me until I got to my late 20s and until I started being like, well, wait a minute, hold up. I don't know that I necessarily believe in that.
Yeah.
And it took a while. It took a while because there's a question of respect
Mhm.
and obedience.
Mhm. Let's talk about that next.
Speaking of respect and obedience,
Mhm.
there was a TikTok that I saw on, in the airwaves out there in the streets that I
Yeah.
thought was important.
Again, no
Um,
one's in the streets. No one. The streets are
oh,
empty because the
well,
block is hot.
The block is hot, but let me play this. Oh God! Of course, my phone is messing up. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. I can't get the sound to come on. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Now I
Well,
know
you
I'm
done,
getting old.
yeah.
Now I know I'm getting
Now,
old because I
how
can't
do
get
I
to
work this?
All right, okay, hold on. I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, with some technical difficulties.
Let me say that again. The whole history of America.
I didn't get it.
Struggling.
I just got scolded by an older gentleman at the public library for wearing my hat, and I really wish I caught this on camera. So he walked by me and he told me that is very disrespectful to wear my hat inside. I asked him, what does being respectful mean to you? He looked very puzzled. So I said, I have my 3-year-old over there. Like, how would I explain to him what it means to be respectful? And he said, well, following the rules. And well, obviously there's no rule about wearing a hat in the library. And I said, well, following the rules, that would be obedience, not respect, right? And he goes, well, same thing. You have to respect your elders. I said, well, what do you mean by that? Again, he looked very puzzled. He said, well, if I tell you it's disrespectful to take your hat off, you take your hat off. I go, again, it sounds like you're describing obedience, not respect. I said, respect to me is to be kind and understanding of other people. After that, I just introduced myself and I shook his hand and I said, I really hope you have a nice day. And he left and it was fine. This is the perfect example of the difference between authoritarian parenting and conscious parenting. Authoritarian parenting confuses respect and obedience, and to follow rules for the sake of following rules. And often those rules are based off of preferences, not logic. So I'm trying to teach my son question and challenge. That's okay.
That is courtesy of Sandy Wozniacki, a stress coach that you can find on TikTok. I found that very, very interesting because I think me and you have often had that question and not frame it as respect versus obedience. Like specifically say respect versus obedience. Because we talk about our parents, and one of mom's favorite line was, do what I say, not as I do. And I was like, well, that's obedience. That's not necessarily respect. Respect would be, tell me why you want me to do this and why you don't do it. And if you say, well, my room's a mess because I work all day, and when I come home, the last thing I want to do is clean up the room because I have to cook for you, feed you guys, get you guys ready for bed, help you with whatever homework that you have to do, and I'm tired. Whereas all you have to do is eat, sleep, go to school, and play. That's the reason why I want you to clean your room and why my room might not be clean. I might be like, you know what? Kind of got a point because I don't want to be out here paying no bills.
Right.
But once again, parenting is tiring.
Yeah.
You got a job. You don't want to explain stuff. But I think kids can grow from something like that. People think kids are stupid. Kids aren't stupid.
Kids
if you
are
talk
not
to
dumb.
them, yeah, you could talk to them not quite like an adult, but you could talk to them and they can figure things out and put things together and be like, oh, because kids will question you real fast if things don't make sense.
Yes. Very quickly. They'll hit you with that. Why?
Right.
You're just gonna keep asking that after I give an explanation, a half-assed explanation.
Right.
You know, that was a very boomer interaction. And yes, I'm one of those millennials that don't like boomers. It's a very boomer thing to say, to conflate obedience with respect. Again, I'm nobody's parent, but I am somebody's child, so I can always speak to parenting from that perspective. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna be that kind of parent that teaches my child to be blindly obedient. I think we had a very interesting our parents had a very interesting parenting style where they did teach us to find out the information for ourselves, to question things, to find our own path. But they still also had that kind of old school, very much just do what I say because I said so. And even though you're confused as to the why behind what you're doing, they feel like that's not something you need to know. You need to just do what I said because I am telling you. But I'm like, but you also told me to question things. So I'm
Right.
really kind of confused about the messaging I'm receiving. But I saw this great TikTok, and it was, what is the one very unserious generational thing that you're not doing with your children? And it was specifically Black people answering this, but it was pretty much open to anybody. And a lot of them were things like, I do have McDonald's money. If my, like, I do have McDonald's money, and we can go to McDonald's if that's what you want. Like, I'm not going to tell you no just for the sake of telling you no if I don't have to. No, I'm not going to wake my kids up early on Saturday morning to do chores that can be done in the afternoon. I'm going to let them get some sleep the same way I would like some sleep after working all week.
Mm-hmm.
My children worked all week also. They went to school for much longer than I was at work.
How do you feel about making the bed?
I don't make my bed. And guess
Neither
what?
do I.
My bills are still paid. So I don't
Right.
understand. I think if it's your room, within reason, I think it's important to teach children to have respect for their own things. Like,
Yes.
these are
Yes.
your things. You should want to keep them in good condition. My room might not be the cleanest, but the rest of my house is, because that's
You talking about you personally as an adult
me
right now?
personally as an adult.
Me and you are the exact same.
Yeah,
Because the rest of my house,
I keep my
on
mess.
point.
Yeah, I keep my
Bedroom,
mess
it's
in my room.
disaster.
Yeah, there's
That's
still folded clean clothes on one side of my bed, and I sleep on the other side. That is the whole point.
you and mom do that.
Yes.
I don't fold the clothes. They stay in the basket. The
No.
clean clothes come out of the dryer, go in the basket. I got 2 baskets. I got a clean hamper and a dry hamper because I'm not folding the clothes.
Yeah, like, it's just I folded the clothes. They're ready to go in the drawer. They just have not been put in the drawer yet.
That's a point I can't understand that one,
And
but
I will
okay.
sleep on the other half of the bed and be fine and be just fine. But yeah, just things like that that's just so unserious, and for what reason? And this idea of blind obedience for the sake of being obedient is the same. It's in the same vein of saying no just for the sake of saying no.
Mm-hmm. I will say, because we're not parents, there's an element that I don't think that we think about a lot. And I think it's about, when I talk to parents, it's just like, I know if I was a parent, I would be a helicopter parent because I'd be so nervous and scared that they would hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of things that our parents did was just so that we wouldn't hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was just like, don't do this, don't do this, because you're going to end up hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got to be a legitimate fear. I'm not a parent, but if I had a kid, that would be a legitimate fear. Like, look, they're not going to go on not the monkey bars, the seesaw. The kids ain't going on no seesaw. That's how fingers get chopped off.
No, your fingers are not going to get chopped off.
Yeah, no.
And
they're not going on the what's the merry-go-round? It wasn't called the merry-go-round, but
it is called a merry-go-round.
That's still contraption.
Yes.
No, my kid's not playing on that. They're
That's
gonna knock out all their front teeth.
You're literally taking away the two funnest things at the park.
They'll be safe though.
That is insane.
They'll be safe.
You could
they
just
want to ride a bike, no problem.
You could just ride those things with them. You can ride the seesaw with them or get on the merry-go-round. No, I want my kids to get skin your knees and others.
See, you and our brother almost died several times.
Almost
out there in the streets.
The operative word is almost.
But several times, almost.
Almost.
Maybe mom and dad had it right. Maybe they had it right. Maybe they should have been strict and we should have been more obedient, because we almost died several times.
But they were great ideas and they were cool ideas if I could have executed them well. They would have been epic.
That's like
the
me.
execution was poor on a lot of these things, is what you.
There was no execution for me to tell my brother in a wrestling match to have a deck wrestling match, and the winner of the wrestling match is the person that throws the other person off the deck, and the deck is 15 feet in the air. And I tell him, "You gonna win this match? You throw me off the deck."
Yeah.
I'm 15 years old. I could have blew out my knee.
Yeah, again, it's execution. You should have had some cushions down below, something that
Should
could help
have.
you. Like if we had a trampoline, we didn't grow up. We weren't trampoline kids. We didn't have trampoline
Nah.
growing up. But if we had, that would have been a great thing to have just under there. It's execution.
Kids die on trampoline every day.
Kids don't. That's not a real statistic. You can't just throw that out there.
Kids die on trampolines every day, B.
No,
but seriously, respect is different than obedience.
Yes.
And people need to learn that. And I hope my generation, whatever generation I'm in, I don't know if I'm Gen X or millennial. It goes back and forth. I want to claim millennial more than Gen X.
You're on the cusp. Let's just say
I'm right there on that border. But I think, when I talk to my friends and their kids, they're just good parents.
Yeah.
They're good parents.
Yeah.
And I think this generation is learning from the last generation. Not like the last generation was bad. The last generation was better than the generation before that.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of us Gen X and millennials have boomer parents, and we're making a lot of different decisions than our parents made. And a lot of that is including, we're not just going to give respect to elders simply because you got old, because God willing, that's where all of us are going to end up. And that doesn't confer any kind of respect. Like that doesn't give you anything additional just because you got old. Well, 100% of us, we all gonna go sometime. Like none of us are gonna make it out of here alive. Okay.
Right. But not all of us get old.
Not all of us are gonna get old, but that doesn't give you any extra anything just because you lived longer than I did. Like,
right.
I'm not gonna, if my child don't want to give you a hug, she don't have to. He doesn't have to. These are little things that you were kind of forced to do that we remember. No, that made me uncomfortable. Or no, I never liked that. I'm not going to force my kids to do the same type of things. Yeah. So yeah, it's true. I see my friends as parents, and I'm like, y'all are good. Y'all are great parents. Y'all are really out here doing it. It's not me, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. And this is what I will say to finish off what you're saying about age does not guarantee you respect. I naturally give everybody respect initially.
Yes.
I give respect until there's a time to be disrespectful. If there's no reason for me to be disrespectful, I am always respectful.
I'll cuss an old lady out. I don't have a problem with that.
I won't hesitate. I won't hesitate to cuss anybody out. I'll cuss anybody out, except for my mama and my daddy. I won't cuss them out.
But I won't. Listen.
If my grandparents were still alive, I wouldn't cuss them out neither.
You can get it just like anybody else. If you come at me wrong or reckless, you can get it just like anybody else. Okay.
Look, Jay, I was just getting ready to ask you.
Opportunity. I will cuss anybody out. I don't give a damn.
I was just getting ready to ask you what you want to say to the people out there, but that was it.
That was it.
You can get it just like anybody else. All right, hold on. Do it one more time. Jay, what do you want to tell the people out there?
You can get it just like anybody else. My mouth is equal opportunity. I will cuss you out. Out, in, down, up, out. I don't give a damn what it is. Inside out. You can get it just like anybody else. Period.
And on that note, as always, I'll holla. Thank you for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and donate. Donations help us keep giving you this free content each and every week. Until next time, Audi 5000. Peace.